A 2-minute and 13-second recording allegedly showing Coldplay frontman Chris Martin rehearsing in private with BTS's Seokjin, Jin, has rocked the global music community's timeline in less than 3 hours. There was no press release, no official notification, but the appearance of the blurry video with partially distorted audio immediately sparked widespread speculation. Are Coldplay and Genie preparing a collaborative surprise ahead of Genie's Los Angeles concert that has only days to count? This question haunts not only fans, but also entertainment industry analysts who realize that in the world of shows of a global scale, no detail comes by chance. Why did two musicians from two continents who had previously worked together on the song The Astronaut suddenly appear back in one closed rehearsal room without an official media escort? Footage circulated through anonymous accounts on the South Korean video-sharing platform showed two silhouettes of men very similar to Chris Martin and Jin, standing opposite each other in front of two microphones, with a sound engineer appearing to occasionally set up a digital mixer. The studio atmosphere is dark, low lighting, and only soft guitar passages are heard, which are then followed by a soft male voice that resembles the color of Jin's vocals. Although there has been no official confirmation from HYB or Coldplay management, fans and the media were quick to conduct unofficial visual verification, equating posture, hand gestures, to dress style. The result is astonishing. The visual match between the two individuals in the footage and the original figures of Chris Martin and Genie achieve an almost undeniable level of precision. The question is, why is this exercise done in secret, and what are the motives behind its secrecy? Is this part of a deliberate promotional strategy to stoke public unease before the official announcement? Or is this a personal tribute from Chris Martin to Jin ahead of his first solo concert after serving the military? The release of the footage comes just 6 days ahead of Jin's big concert at Los Angeles, Sofi Stadium, a show that promises to mark a new era in the individual careers of BTS members. The concert itself has drawn attention for its massive scale and for being Jin's first time performing solo on an international stage after a long hiatus. But the leaked rehearsal footage adds a new dimension to the narrative, that this concert could contain elements of an international collaboration that has never been announced. Previously, Jin and Chris Martin were known to have a unique professional relationship. Their collaboration on The Astronaut in 2022 not only created a global hit, but also demonstrated a rare personal closeness between artists across continents and generations. Since then, speculation about potential further cooperation has continued to emerge, but has always been denied or avoided by both sides. This latest footage seems to be reopening that box of speculation, but this time with visual evidence that's hard to deny if true. This rehearsal is most likely a rehearsal for a special performance in Jin's concert. This means that not only BTS fans, but also Coldplay fans will be treated to a historic moment, the long-awaited reunion of two musicians with a global reputation on one stage. Industrially, a joint performance like this is not just a musical collaboration, but the creation of an iconic moment that will enter the catalog of the history of 21st century pop culture. However, skeptical analysis also emerged from some circles. Some industry experts have questioned the validity of the recording due to its low visual quality, the absence of location metadata, and the absence of credible sources confirming the involvement of both artists in the same rehearsal session. They advise the public to remain cautious in responding to visual evidence that could be the result of digital manipulation or deliberate marketing strategies. The response of the United States Army community was mixed. Most warmly welcomed the potential appearance of Chris Martin in the Genie concert and considered it a form of cross-genre and generational support that is very relevant in today's era of global collaboration. But others have questioned the ethics of the leak. Is it an invasion of privacy against the creative process of two great musicians? Should private practice moments be made public just for the thrill of the pre-concert? On the other hand, observers of the strategic communications of the entertainment industry judge that leaks like this are not random incidents. In many previous cases, leaked videos were often an effective indirect means of communication to provoke public attention without the need to make an official statement. In the context of Jin's concert, this leak could be part of a phased launch strategy that has been designed very systematically. If so, then we are witnessing one very sophisticated form of marketing communication maneuver, where public curiosity, speculation, and analysis become the main promotional tools that are even more effective than conventional advertising. The involvement of Chris Martin will expand the appeal of Jin's concerts not only to BTS fans, but also to a wider international audience, including Coldplay fans who may not have followed Jin's solo career in depth. Meanwhile, the demand for concert tickets, which was initially high, has now jumped dramatically after the release of the recording. Searches for the keyword Genie Chris Martin Louisiana concert increased by more than 300% in the past 24 hours, and a number of ticket sales platforms reported an unusual surge in visitors. All these indicators reinforce the assumption that the recording, regardless of its authenticity, has played a significant role in raising public expectations of the upcoming concert. But what about Jin himself? In this situation, the pressure on the artist increases exponentially. If the tape proves to be true and Chris Martin's performance will actually take place, then the burden of expectation on Jin as a concert host becomes even greater. He is not only required to perform optimally vocally and visually, but also must be able to manage the emotional dynamics of the audience that has been fueled by rumors and speculation. For HYB, this situation is a crucial test in managing public information and expectations. Silence or giving a statement would be a strategic move that should be considered very carefully. In a rapidly changing digital climate, any remark, clarification, or even silence can be interpreted as a signal, both positive and negative. Is it true that Chris Martin will appear as a special guest at the Genie concert in Los Angeles? Or is all this just a domino effect of one leaked video that has not been fully verified? One thing is for sure, the world is now looking forward to the stage, not only because Jin will be back in front of the world public, but also because of the possibility of a monumental surprise that could change the course of global K-pop concert history. While public opinion continues to grow and global entertainment media are vying to bring the issue to the fore, one thing is clear: the leaked footage is not just viral content. He has been the catalyst for a series of discussions that touch on industrial, artistic, to emotional dimensions. Longtime Coldplay fans see this as a continuation of the cross-generational collaboration they've been longing for since The Astronaut, while ARMY regards it as validation of the close relationship that has so far only been implied between Jin and Chris Martin. Despite this, HYB labels still chose not to respond. The silence of this agency is not without meaning. In previous precedents, HYB has often taken the silent escalation approach, which is to withhold information until the last second in order to control momentum. This means that the public will only get official confirmation when the stage actually opens. This pattern was evident in some of BTS' previous concerts, where special guests were not announced in advance, but immediately appeared surprisingly on stage, eliciting an explosion of emotional reactions from the audience and reinforcing the spontaneous momentum narrative. Not only HYB, Coldplay's management has also not issued any statements. A similar stance was taken by Warner Music, the label that houses Coldplay, which also declined to provide confirmation. This further reinforces the assumption that Chris Martin's involvement in the Genie concert was not a small coincidence, but rather part of a creative strategy designed to shock the global public. Jin's concert at Sofi Stadium itself has attracted attention since it was first announced. The 70,000 capacity venue is one of the most modern stadiums in the United States and is regularly used for international concerts by Beyoncé, Taylor Swift, and The Weeknd. Choosing the SoFi Stadium is not an arbitrary decision. This confirms that Jin and his production team are not preparing a concert of the usual scale, but a monumental performance that could become a historical marker in the journey of the South Korean musician's solo career on the global stage, an unnamed source said. The closed-door rehearsal had been scheduled for several weeks and was designed as part of a rehearsal for a stage collaboration session. Although the source did not explicitly mention that Chris Martin will be attending the concert, he confirmed that Jin's concert setlist has undergone major changes in the past 2 days and will present a very emotional moment for the audience who have been following Jin's journey since his debut with BTS in 2013. K-pop music analysts predict that most likely, the collaboration will involve a live version of the song, The Astronaut, in an expanded format. The song, which was originally only sung by Jin, could have been performed in the form of a duet, or even added with a new composition as a form of tribute to the personal and musical closeness between the two artists. It's not just about singing a song, it's about recreating a moment that's already lived in fans' hearts and reliving it in a larger, grander context. The reaction of the international community is no less interesting to observe. On Twitter, hashtags related to Jin and Chris Martin were trending globally in more than 12 countries within 4 hours of the footage appearing. In the United States, Variety, Rolling Stone, and Billboard have picked up the issue as one of the top music rumors of the week, although they also remain cautious about citing visual sources that have not been officially verified. Among fans, the discourse developed in a broader direction. Not a few have begun to interpret this moment as a symbol of the intercultural bridge created by K-pop music in the last decade. That a South Korean artist can perform side by side, in artistic and stage equality, with a world music icon like Chris Martin is a concrete manifestation of the globalization of modern music. But behind this euphoria, there is also concern. Some fans questioned whether Jin was getting enough space to showcase his solo identity, or whether the concert would be shrouded in the shadows of a collaboration that obscures the main focus, the monumental comeback of a Kim Seokjin. This concern is well-founded, given that BTS's long history as a group has made the public accustomed to seeing its members in a collective format. Jin's solo concert should be a stage to show who he is as an artistic individual, not just as part of a global phenomenon called BTS. But when viewed from a broader perspective, the emergence of Chris Martin could actually be a marker of Jin's artistic validation in the eyes of the international music industry. Not as a compliment, but as an equal partner. Collaborations like this confirm that Jin has not only commercial appeal, but also musical recognition for musicians who have endured more than 2 decades in the highly competitive music industry. Technically, this concert challenge is no joke. The integration between the two production systems of 2 different agencies, HYB and Coldplay Management, required intensive coordination, especially in terms of sound technology, lighting, broadcast rights, and licensing matters. If it is true that Chris Martin will take the stage with Jin, then this will be a cross-country logistics operation designed in silence, but with great precision. The biggest question at the moment remains the same. Will the audience really watch Chris Martin perform with Jin live in the concert? Or is the leaked recording just a collaboration exercise for another project? For example, the creation of a documentary, album, or post-concert surprise release. To date, there is no definite answer. But one thing is clear. The world is now focused on one point: the stage at Sofi Stadium, Los Angeles, where a certain Kim Seokjin will stand, no longer as part of BTS, but as himself. And maybe, just maybe, be with someone who once told him, "You're not a backup. You are the star."